Hello, everyone. Thank you for letting me join today. My name is Takahiro Komatsu. And I'm excited to be here to talk about how we can write and expand your Drupal books with the support of your local community. Throughout this session, I will share how collaboration and community-driven efforts can lead to meaningful contributions to the Drupal ecosystem. Let's dive in. Feel free to take photos of the slides during this session. The slides will be also shared later. Before we proceed and dive into the main topic, let me take a moment to tell more about myself. I'm Takahiro Komatsu. Please call me Taka, based in Korea, Aichi, Japan. I co-organize the Drupal Meetup in Toyota and work at Acquire as a technical account manager. In my free time, I enjoy little video games such as NES and Super NES, computing, and watching horse races. Let me start introducing my favorite Drupal meetup. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Yep. So, please let me ask questions. Any of you been to Japan? Oh, thank you. And have any of you been to, or perhaps heard of the name of Toyota? Oh, most of you. Thank you. And Toyota City is located near the center of Japan and shares its name with the famous car manufacturer, Toyota, which was named after its founder. This company gave its name to the city. Aichi Prefecture, where Toyota City is located, has a daily direct flight from Singapore, taking approximately 6 hours. There are many good places in Aichi Prefecture, so if you have a chance to visit Japan, I recommend that you also visit Aichi. So our meetup started in May 2018 and holding online and on-site since April 2020. A meetup is about once every 3 to 4 months, and our meetups very small and usually with 3 to 10 people attending. These books were written together with members of our community. Today, I will talk about them, and we've displayed sample copies at the community booth, so some of you may have already seen them. If you haven't yet, please feel free to stop by and browse through the actual books. Here is today's session agenda: why we wrote the books, how we collaborated with community members, what we did before and after publishing, what we learned and gained, and our plans for the future. Now on to the first topic, the reasons why we wrote the books. In Japan, a subculture thrives around self-contained works in various fields, such as comics, technical books, and accessories. Some of you may be familiar with the huge exhibition and sales event in Japan dedicated to comics. Similarly, there are several focus on technical books as well. This is a scene from a technical book sales event held in Tokyo. At each booth, exhibitors display books they have written themselves and sell them directly at the venue. In addition to physical books, ebooks are also available for sale. There are so many books about software and hardware at the event. Then I suddenly wondered, are there any self-published books about Drupal here? I typed Drupal into the search form and pressed enter. Unfortunately, the search result didn't show a single book about Drupal. At the Drupal Meetup Toyota, I shared my initial experiences with Drupal and the challenges I faced. When I asked for feedback, I realized that many members had similar difficulties. These included not knowing what to do after the initial installation, struggling to set up a working environment, and being familiar with the contributed modules commonly used in Japan. These feedbacks highlighted shared pain points among the new Drupal users. At that time, there was only one Japanese book available about Drupal 8, and there were no books written in Japanese about Drupal 9. This lack of resources made it challenging for Japanese users to learn and adopt the newer version of Drupal. If it doesn't exist, create it. In Japan, this is what we call the maker's mind. The idea that if we see a gap or need, we don't wait for others to fill it. Instead, we take initiative and create the solution ourselves. It's about being proactive, creative, and resourceful. Our initial goal was simple: to complete the book and release it at the technical book fair. Given the printing schedule, creating a physical book was impossible, so we focused on the producing an ebook. Since we made the decision on the last day of application, we had only 24 days left until the deadline. At that time, the global situation with COVID-19 had not yet stabilized, so the event was held online. We began the writing project in early December 2020, around the time Drupal 9.1 was released. Now, let's move to the second topic, how we collaborated. There are 5 main points in this project. Number 1, authors writing the drafts. Number 2, managing the schedule. Number 3, deciding the content of the book. Number 4, compiling the reviewing the drafts. And number 5, designing the cover. These steps were essential to successfully compiling and publication our book. The first step was to decide on the project members. I invited participants from Drupal Meetup Toyota and other Drupal meetups. Given the tight schedule, I avoided including people I didn't know well to ensure smooth management. Instead, I focused on the trusted members. The only requirement was their ability to set aside time for writing drafts. Balancing this project with their full-time jobs and dedicating evenings or weekends to community work was challenging. But we successfully assembled 8 members. The most important things to remember when scheduling and planning tasks is to plan the schedule backward from the event date. And it is also important to always have a buffer time in the schedule to be able to deal with unexpected situations. Hold regular online meetings where each member can share the progress as much as possible. Hold regular mokumoku-kai meetings to create opportunities to ask questions easily and dedicate time for writing, preferably on weekends such as Saturday or Sunday. This example is from our first event where the schedule was very tight. For subsequent publications, we extended the timeline to 2 to 3 months, allowing for a more manageable pace and complete preparation. There are many factors to consider when deciding what kind of book to create. These steps involves brainstorming ideas, evaluating the audience need, and aligning the content with the team's strengths and expertise. Once you have decided what you want to write, you need to prepare your writing environment. If focusing on creating an ebook, the artifact will be a PDF or HTML file. And it is necessary to have a typesetting system that can output. In addition, a shared system is needed to gather each draft. During the review phase, it is also necessary to manage the review tasks. This table is listed the main software we used for writing. You can use any text editor you prefer. The second item, review, is typesetting software we use to format text into book layout. Below that, Review Starter is a derivative of review used for more precise formatting where review alone doesn't meet the desired output. Docker provides the environment for running review on a laptop. GitHub is used as a platform for version control and sharing the text documents. GitHub Actions is a CI service which I explain in the detail later, and GitHub project is used to track the tasks assigned each member. Finally, Google Docs is utilized for recording and sharing decisions and background information related to the project. Here, I will explain key typesetting system used when creating a book in more detail. This diagram illustrates how review operates. As shown on the left, you place the required images, formatting, chapter structure, and other settings and content into the project directory. When compiled, it produces outputs like PDFs or HTML files. Creating a book often involves complex tasks such as generating a table of contents and managing chapter titles. Managing these as configuration files is highly convenient. Additionally, especially for technical books, inserting terminal input and output code into the text is a common requirement, and review enables clean output for these elements. In our case, we adopted a collaborative writing process. Each of us pushed our individual draft to our branches first. Then we merged everything into the main branch, followed by peer reviews to ensure the content was consistent and high quality. This process helps us work efficiently and effectively as a team. I will explain the workflow for each author writing drafts. First, set up your local environment for writing. Second, pull from a shared repository and check out your branch. Third, write and build your draft. Fourth, check the artifact and commit your draft. Fifth, push to your branch on the shared repository. And finally, create a pull request. The writing team worked on our drafts on the individual laptops, building locally and checking PDFs, HTML for errors. Once everything looked good, we committed the changes to our local repositories and push our branches to GitHub. With GitHub Actions, the latest version of each branch was automatically built. After repeating this process and compiling our draft, we created pull requests to merge our work. The remote repository maintainers have two main tasks. First, they review the pull request created by each team member. Since the latest version of each branch has already been built, they can check the final output. If needed, they can also review the differences on GitHub. After reviewing, they merge each member's branch into the main branch, completing the initial draft. As you may have already noticed, the workflow we use to write this book is exactly the same as in software development. From drafting and building locally to using GitHub for version control and peer reviews, the entire process follows a familiar structure for software development, highlighting the similarities between writing and coding workflows. The cover is the face of the book. It's the first thing people notice, and it is also important for grabbing attention and making an impression. A good design can make the book more appealing. The cover design features a cat-like creature enthusiastically typing on the keyboard. This design has also been adopted into merchandise, including t-shirts, acrylic keychains, and cleaning clothes, like the t-shirts I'm wearing now. Here is an overview of the book we created in 24 days. The title is Drupal 9, a theme book for getting started with web development. This title is a playful nod to the book's 179 pages, referencing the Japanese term usuihon, or theme book, commonly used for self-published books, including technical books. Some self-published books are indeed very thin, such as 10 to 20 page manga. The target audience is also anyone interested in Drupal. The content is presented in an omnibus style, with each author writing about topics they are passionate about. For the initial release, we chose to distribute it as an ebook only. The price is 800 yen, approximately $5. This price reflects the generally low price range of self-published books sold at the events. This is a table of content from the first book we released. This provides a clear structure and an overview of the topics covered in the book. After explaining what Drupal is to those who are new to Drupal, it explains how to set up an environment in which Drupal can be run, and also explaining the way to operate and manage Drupal. The second half of the book includes a report on the Drupal certification exam, introducing an introduction of commonly used contributed modules and information to help readers learn more about Drupal.org and communities. Now, on to the next topic, what we did before and after publishing. There are two main things we did before that book release. One was to register the book on sales platform, and the other was to promote the book. After the book was released, we analyzed how well it was selling. These are the platforms we registered to sell our book. Each platform varies in terms of pre-publication review requirements, in the ability to sell physical copies, and fee structures. Conditions may change over time or differ by country, so be sure to check the official website for the latest information. Fortunately, Japan has a culture of self-publishing, so if an individual or small community group wants to make a physical book, several printing services are available. The price will vary depending on the number of copies, pages, the size, whether it is black and white or color printing, the paper used, and the delivery date. For example, if you want to make 50 books, each with 100 pages, printed in black and white, and in A5 size, it can be printed approximately 1 week for 25,000 yen, which is 170 US dollars. When you print paper books, please remind that you need to keep them as a stock, which incurs initial costs. We highly recommend to first make a small number of books, such as 30 to 50, in line with releasing time of the ebook, and then increase the number if necessary. The media that promoted the book was mainly social media. We received the most responses from this. In addition, we introduced the book at each author's blog, Drupal Meetup, and events related to open source software. In order to get the attention of people seeing it, it's very important to include the cover image and table of contents. The first event was online, but we also exhibited at the several on-site events. This event is very well known among developers in Japan, but in order to get the interest of people who are not developers, it is also important to make sure the following points are understood at a glance. When and where is the event? our booth number and name, where our booth is, approximately 200 booths at the venue, and the title and the price of the book. These are the 4-panel comics we created to announce the new book on social media. It might be a unique aspect of Japanese culture, but posting concise messages with comic stories to promote content has proven to be highly effective on social media platforms. The comics grab attention and communicate the messages in an engaging way. After publishing the book, we analyzed our selling. Amazon Kindle sold the most books, followed by TechBook Fest online market, and then Booth. The most books were sold at the start of the TechBook Fest event, but several books are consistently selling each month. Next is what we learned and gained. Once we had written the book, our psychological barriers were significantly reduced. Setting up the writing environment was a bit challenging. However, thanks to the benefit of co-authorship, we could divide up the tasks, which kept the writing workload manageable. We also received valuable feedback through Amazon reviews and responses on social media. And we gained one more thing. After releasing, we got an offer for commercial publication. This is the cover transition from a self-published book to a commercial publication. We updated it by checking for typos, improving sections with better method, and adding new chapters. The initial self-published book on the left had 179 pages, while the final commercial publication on the right expanded to 260 pages. This diagram shows the timeline of the books we have written. The books at the top present our self-published works, while those at the bottom of commercial publications. It highlights the diversity and evolution of our project. When comparing self-published books with commercial publications, both have their respective advantages and disadvantages. For non-professional writers like us, self-publishing allows you to target a wide audience or focusing on writing the book you truly want to create, even if you have a limited readership. The choice ultimately depending on your personal or team priorities. Another lesson we learned is the importance of staying flexible in the face of change. During long-term writing projects, new members may join, while others may step away due to the difficulty of finding time to write. To handle such situations, we strive to avoid creating tasks that rely too heavily on specific individuals. Additionally, our goals evolve over time. Initially, the objective was simply to complete the book, but gradually we shifted our focus to expressing what we truly wanted to convey. While we didn't aim to create a profit-driven book, the niche nature of our content led us to adjust our goal toward reaching a wider audience. Then we made a major change in direction. The new concept of our book assumes that readers are new to Drupal. To make it easier to read, we have adopted a style that combines explanations with a dialogue-style story. Since it is difficult for beginners to use the terminal application, we decided to operate Drupal only via the GUI. We wanted the readers to understand the basic concept of Drupal, so we decided to build the site using only core modules. However, in commercial publications, some contributed modules are used to include advanced topics. We have created a distribution or insert profile so that readers can start right away from any chapter. These are characters on the new book. The story is about a girl who builds a Drupal site with a teacher who looks like a seal. The story takes place in a town with an old shrine. There are many shops operating along the street in the front of the shrine, and the main girl is gradually building a Drupal site for shops. This is an introduction manga. The story begins with a girl, a daughter of liquor shop owner, talking with her friend about their local shrine. The shrine is getting famous on social media, and the main character's father, who is also the head of the shopping street association, is put in charge of DX for the street and asks his daughter to create a website. She has no experience building websites. Will she be able to successfully complete the site? Would you like to read a bit more? In this story style series, we have already written two types of books. The two on the left, which are stories about Drupal basics, such as content type, blocks, views, taxonomies, media, and layout builder. And the two on the right side, which are about multilingual. This series is really suitable for Drupal beginners, so a company in Japan has purchased dozens of copies of this series and is distributing them to other companies. And another company is also using the book as a textbook for their training. We are really glad we wrote these books because we've received a lot of positive feedback from people who have started learning Drupal and want to learn more. The last topic is what we plan to do in the future. As our next step, we are considering to try 2 books in English. Drupal CMS is one of the big topics at this DrupalCon, and we also would like to write a book about it. Furthermore, we have only collaborated with community members in Japan so far, so we would be very happy to collaborate with community members overseas. We would also like to participate in the event outside of Japan, so if there are any self-published technical book event in your country, please let me know. It'd be great to connect with others in the global community who are also working on similar projects and share experiences and knowledge. If you are thinking you would like to write a Drupal book with your local community members now, then I would like to send this message to you. There are always people in your community who need the book you will write. Let's start writing your book from your local community. I would like to express my deep gratitude to my co-authors who helped me write the books. I especially want to highlight the contributions of Hikaru Maruyama, who played a major role in project management, Mutsuko Komatsu, who provided unique and amazing illustrations as our designer, and Kenji Shirane, who handled the creation and management of our distribution. Their efforts were crucial to the success of this project. I've also included a reference, so if you like, please check out the links later. Thank you very much for your attention. I truly appreciate your time and interest in my presentation. If you have any questions or would like to discuss further, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
Yes, great.
So could we make this translatable, please?
Yeah. We are considering to translate in English, and but we are very interested in Drupal CMS.
Okay.
So yeah, we are we can discuss further.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for this. Well, okay, good.
Thank you.
Anyone else? No? All right. Well, let's give it up for Taka. Thank you very much. Oh,
Okay.
there is. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh. Sorry about that. I didn't see you.
Now is the AI age. Do you think is there any change for the process to write something, especially the document for the technical like this?
Yes, thank you. That's a good question. So yeah, we feel challenges for localization and documentation in our community, and so AI is a big game changer for us, for local communities, and so we would like to hybrid the process of writing and generating some training materials with AI. So yeah, I'm also very interested in the combination of AI and the manual workflows. And yeah, so yeah, please let's discuss later.
Thank you. I found the session very insightful. Just one question. In the future, do you plan to continue with physical hardbound books, or would you prefer doing publishing ebooks?
Okay. Yeah, so basically we're focusing on ebook because if created physical books, we need to invest initial cost, and we also needed to have a stock. So for the next project, and so we also considering focusing on mainly ebooks. Mhm.
So I have a follow-up question on that because you have done ebooks and you're focusing on ebooks, and you used GitHub. You basically use the docs as code approach to write this book. So is there any reason why you used GitHub for that as opposed to some content editing platform or even Drupal for say?
Yeah. There is a big reason for choosing GitHub because each of member familiar with GitHub, and so we can consider other choices as well.
Okay. Any more questions? All right. Now we can put our hands together.
Thank you so much.